Check out this mural. Very cool. A lot going on right there. All right. I want to talk about computational encryption and packets. Packets. I made 2 videos recently that I want to reach a standardization community. Basically, cheaters do not stop because you tell them to, or because you put fines or problems. If you create problems, they will find solutions. And the big thing with that is botnetting. Botnets are what hackers use. But why don't anti-hackers use botnets? Why are we in this like proprietary, here's my encryption code? A botnet would come up and swarm your encryption code. Proprietary greed is what's keeping us back from an anti-cheat utopia. This is very important. Encryption agencies, ISPs, VPN companies, hacking companies, security companies, they need to come together and create a botnet. This is very serious in these times because games are being hacked, phones are being hacked the day they're released. You know, like before it's even released for some people, because of mole coding. Some people might not understand what before it released it's hacked means. Mole coding means you had a developer that had proprietary team construct, and he put spaghetti code in there on purpose. He's a mole coder. It was hacked before it was released. This is serious. Oh, that's just the developer's fault. No, it's actually our fault as a community, because that shouldn't even happen. Like, as soon as you have mole coding intentions, you should overwrite their body. Like, that's how advanced we should be. We should be that advanced that if a developer says, this is what I want you to work on, and you're working on things over here, that's not in the whitelisted permutations of what's allowed to be at your job. The end. So mole coders as a reality is pretty fucking stupid, if you ask me. Makes absolutely no sense. You can get rid of it very easily. Cameras on every terminal. I've talked about this in past streams, but I want to talk about it in an actual talk stream instead of like a game chat stream. So I want to talk about every terminal. The mole coder himself is a corporate espionager. He wants to put spaghetti code inside your proprietary source code. And then he wants upper dimensional root. He wants highest root access invisibly. So he wants to make you a virtual machine. He wants to make you and all of your employees a virtual machine feeding to its greater, more proprietary swarm, and have a filtration in of packets to create an illusion that you're running a company. So what I suggest is probably monthly anti-root exercises, meaning you take your source code and you put it somewhere else every month or more, every day, every single fucking day. This is a serious thing. Take your proprietary source code and move it, and then trace it. Watch it. put it inside an isolation chamber. Watch what one more wise. Every single packet. If a packet gets edited, you want to know about it. If a packet's getting filtered before it gets to you, you want to know about it, whether it's VPN or not. A VPN is an encryption algorithm packet edit. And if you can't sense from your source and from the client that there was editing in between, if you can't sense that, you have a potential problem, because this player needs to have upper dimensional most control, and this source needs to upper dimensional most control, and everything in between here needs to be known, no matter what. Because the moment one filtration barrier hits, it can go instantaneously it can be filtered. And if there is a filtration barrier here and a filtration barrier here, not even here, if it's just here alone, the sending and retrieving between your client and your source is getting edited based off of this. So they can feed whatever they want to this and whatever they want to this. The problem lies in between. You have to have upper dimensional forced encryption. And the way that you do this is with lowest factorial blocks. Understanding how the client is perceiving data. We're absorbing photons. We have encryption machine. Decryption, transcription machine too. Transcription means this is transcription. But this is encoded transcription. Because nobody hacks this and transcribes this besides this, me. Right? So that's proving right there. God, creators here, we would all be hacked like this. Biotech's been around since Alexandria. We would be hacked if God did not exist, if creators did not exist. So you need to start looking at your decryption machine, meaning decryption means understand. So I'm understanding these photons. How am I understanding it? Encryption, decryption, algorithms, all up in here. And it might not even be in here. It might be out of the universe, going through the filter that I was talking about earlier, from source to client. Like this. And how is very simple. You create, and then you attach onto the creation force engrossment within these permutations. That's very simple. And then you do read only. All at the same time. You flash that. You go beep, beep, beep. Read only. No root access, no edits, no changes, no nothing. When I want to release my next source protocol, proprietary source game, I go beep, 2.0. Read only, force engrossment. Force engrossment means no matter the encryptions between, no matter the filtration. Imagine the packet comes through, gets filtered right here, gets unfiltered right here. P format stays P format the whole time. Even though it's constantly changing in between the encryptions, and the filterer, the hacker, the guy that thinks that he can take this like ball and like change it to his ball and then send you their balls of packets and like start streaming them outwards, and he's like, oh, I'm the greatest wizard of all, I am controlling packets, I am hacking, oh, look at me, I'm hacking the video game. That's what they want to do. So what you have to do is you have to force engrossment. The moment it gets hacked, it gets unhacked before it reaches client. Now, the cool thing is when you start to look at it as we're all inside source. When you create something in this read-only creation mode and it goes through a hack encryption, that was not the instructions. Those are supplementary instructions, which means you can use that as encryption to yourself. And you can use it as decryption to catch the hacker. because all of these other VPNs, their job is to scramble the packet and then return it to full packet format again, perfectly. Same thing with your ISP. Your internet service provider gives you an IP. On your side, you get encryption packet. All packets go beep, and then they're like encrypted, magically encrypted. When you have this encryption key, you do not have the decryption key. So this is a ball of random, non-legible stuff. To decrypt it is extremely hard unless you have the decryption key. Decryption key is over here on your ISP. So it comes through, gets here, goes back to format. And then it goes to source, the game developer source. But then wait, there's more. There was an encryption key that the game developer created. So that was adding to the ball. That was changing the packets data. So then it hits their source, and right beforehand it's like, this makes no sense, and then bam, it hits the source and goes, oh yeah, this is the decryption key. Psh, puts the P format, puts it into the algorithm that it's supposed to, sends it all back out. All of this happens like instantaneously. And in the future, we'll all be inside source, inside of a computer, and all of it will happen instantly. No electricity, no photons of light, no silicon, no electricity binary. All that would be structural engrossment. All that can still exist, but it'll go, all of those gears will change at the same time. And if anybody has a hacking filter up, it will fail, because it will be spidered. It'll be right here, and everything else will remain the same. That's the goal. That has to do with botnetting. Anti-cheat botnet will lead to this. Also, so will biology as technology. Biology as technology extrapolation will run us up to the point that we understand this entire thing as full written down science. Meaning our minds, how we decrypt photons. How we decrypt photons is the next stage of hacking. Because if somebody can edit the waves, let's say they can have some giant satellite, super powerful, not even a satellite, could be an on-Earth three-dimensional editing machine. Three-dimensional meaning it can look at in 3 dimensions and scan all of the waves and fields and photons and matter within the 3-dimensional space that it selects. Then, editing machine means like it can edit it. We are 3-dimensional editing machines microdosely. I'm editing this 3-dimensional space right now. Just scale that up to more super advanced technology, something that's going to be editing the photons instead. So like, let's say I have bioluminescence. Bioluminescence would be a photon editing machine if I could control it and move it around. So if you can do that remotely at a distance, then you have potential to create a barrier. Now you're thinking that your phone is final source, but it's not. If you have a hacking barrier here in between your phone and your eyeball, now that is still a potential place a hacker can put a filtration on. Same thing as your biology is technology. If they have you in bioaugmented reality, and their bioaugmented reality is uppermost dimensional root perceived filtration. Now I'm talking about like hallucinogenics and trips and stuff like that as well. That supports bioaugmented reality. Bioaugmented reality is already real. LSD, psilocybin. These things are not a joke. You scale that up to even higher mad scientist level, and you poison the water supply of the entire America, and nobody even knows because it didn't change anything. But it added that upper dimensional root filter. Now that's a serious fear. This is what bio-antivirus will achieve eventually. We will have bio antivirus. You'll go to the doctor and they'll be like, scan you with AVG, you know, hit you with the McAfee, the McAfee human version. That will get rid of the perception decryption. You are decrypting particles because you have a brain and because you have an eyeball, and that is technology. And that is a portion of where you can be hacked. And where hacking can start at a macro level. I'm talking like esports level. I'm talking, if that existed already, one team could pay somebody that achieved this, and now your photons are getting streamed to their machine. And then they can edit it in any way and then stream back to the desired winner, to their photon capturing machine, the body, our body. And that's a serious threat that might have been going on already. Like, I kind of just feel it in the ether, you know, in the universe, that this is something super high tier, sketchy dark army kind of stuff. Dark army would mean like they sell this to extremely wealthy individuals and say, I can give you, you know, a lot better chance to win. Say you give me like $100 million, you know. This is all real stuff that has to be worried about and has to be thought about. Same thing as everything in between. Everything in between your biotech, your universe host, and the source. Everything in between the source creator, not source creator like God, the source creator, meaning like the creators of the video game you play. So everything between their source and your perception, each your name here, matters. Everything in between those two things is a potential backdoor. And you need to write force engrossment codes. I'm not playing around. You need to go inside your binary language and find a way to talk to creation with your binary create. I know this sounds crazy, but like, if that's your consent, this is your art piece. Your video game is your art piece. When I paint something, I have the language right there in front of me. It's the universe. When you're writing code, it's the same exact thing. You need to write it in these weird, highly educated, highly aware manners. You need to write code as if you're God. Or a God, like being, somebody that wants to be like God, will come in and put that filter in between one of those many barriers and hack you and your client away from your art. The end. You have to do forced engrossment. Forced engrossment consent. You say, relative to these codes, and you got to know them all. You can't have a mole coder. When you have a team of coders, only all of them know all of it. So you need one person that goes and knows every single thing and the meaning of it all. And then on the end of it goes force engrossment relative to this. And then maybe even say exclude this. All the other infinite things that could be. Because that's not your art piece. You've already defined exactly what's going to happen on that rectangle that you call a monitor or a phone. So I think that it concludes my talk today. I wanted to bring it all together and talk about biotech integration with gaming and how important it is that biotech and gaming come together as one, because otherwise you have problems. You see it every day. People complain about hacks right in front of them. People getting entire frameworks of proprietary source intel, and then they're like streamlining it on like a window on top of a window. Like some people in H1Z1 had stream here, hacks here. They could see the hacks on their computer, but the stream was capturing these relative perceives instead. And on top of that was another layer of hacks. And they could see the whole framework. They seen every player in every spot. And it even showed on somebody's stream once. It like glitched out. Like somebody like hacked that source and like layered it into their stream. Like some white hat hacker did this on Twitch TV. And y'all know about it if you watched H1Z1 back in the day. Y'all know about it if you watched the scandal videos of H1Z1. This happens. This is already happening on our computer. The next stage is to happen on our mind. And that happens too. You betcha. So I'm going to take off. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to leave you right here with this this masterpiece. You see those photons? Those photons are not hacked, because we wrote it in the language of the universe. That's what's the problem today, is magic coders. Magic coders meaning that you're coding in this weird binary language that you made up, a magical thing. And the universe don't know how to enforce around that exactly until you tell it to. Tell it how to. So be your own anti-cheat developers. Get with the times. I'm out. Peace.